Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today what I wanted to talk about is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time, and that is farming. So just before I begin, for me personally, if you don't know anything really about me, but me, I really am passionate about farming. I'm passionate about growing your own food. It's something that I just love to do. I love to think about. I love to invest in. I love to do anything regarding farming because I think it's such a huge, vital, foundation of essentially life. Obviously, we need food to eat. We need food to survive. And I think the importance of it and, what's the word I'm looking for? The realistic idea that we need to put healthy food into our bodies to be able to function is not something that is really taught much in society. It's not something that really we think about or we're even teaching our next generation. Lots of, people aren't teaching their children, how to garden or how to farm or the importance of healthy eating and, even organic farming and, what we're putting into our body. So me personally, this is a huge thing for me. And I am a huge advocate for healthy eating, healthy farming, growing your own food, growing everything that you put into your bodies as much as you possibly can, the self-sustainability that we need. Everybody eats. So agriculture is such a huge thing. And I think we need to take it more seriously as people because, we're needing to eat, right? We need to eat. Everybody needs to eat. Everybody has to have food in their bodies, in their homes, and to not be able to grow that yourself is putting yourself in a very bad situation. Right? So if you don't have the ability to essentially feed yourself, what happens when the person feeding you stops? That's a big question. I ask my kids that too. Like, okay, so, nobody's going to be handing out forever. So what happens when it stops? Are you prepared? Are you ready to do you have the knowledge to be able to handle things yourself? Do you have the ability or, even the resources to do it, the know-how and the opportunity? So that's a huge reason as to why we even came to Nigeria was the farming. It was the agriculture. So that's just kind of, before I even begin the video, that's just kind of the gist of me personally. I can talk forever about farming and its importance. I can talk forever and try to convince everybody just to go into farming because it is so, so important. So that's kind of my little spiel before I start. But yes, basically farming, your fresh food, your homestead, if you're able to do it, do it. If you're able to plant whatever it is, grow what you can grow. If you're able to go into agriculture, go into it. It's too much. So let me just go kind of start here. So I'm just going to say, before I came to Nigeria, I didn't know too much about Nigerian agriculture. I'll be honest with you. Obviously, I didn't study it or anything like that. So coming here, there was a lot of ideas I had, understandings that have changed since I've came here. So, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm trying to figure some things out. So there's definitely a lot that I've learned. So here in Nigeria, you have basically 2 seasons. You have a dry season between around December to March or so. And then you have your rainy season, which is about from April to December. So your dry season, that's kind of, you have your Harmattan, the wind from the Sahara gets blown over here, so it's really dusty. And then rainy season, obviously, rainy season is self-explanatory that it's rainy. So, that's kind of the 2 seasons that Nigeria has. In my understanding, I was thinking that, you have your dry season vegetables and fruits, and then you have your rainy season vegetables and fruits. But that is a misconception. You can have all year round produce. And that's why, for me personally, I'm a huge advocate of living in countries where you can have food all year round, right? So you are able to be, self-sustainable, right? Growing your own food all year round. That's fantastic. So again, in Canada, obviously where we came from, you have your fall, you have your winter, and you have your spring where you're not really growing too much or anything, right? You're not growing at minus 50. So definitely your growing season is smaller. So that also limits your ability to produce certain vegetables and fruits. So moving on, let's go to kind of see what can we farm during dry season here in Nigeria. So in Nigeria, the dry season farming crops essentially are pepper, onions. This is a brief list. I'm not going to list everything, okay, guys, that Nigeria can grow, because we'll be here for a really, really, really long time. Actually, a little fun fact is before Nigeria went on to the petroleum avenue for like huge petroleum exporting, agriculture was their number one, and they were one of the highest in agriculture. I'll put a little fun fact, little thingy on the screen to show the little interesting thing that I learned about Nigeria here. So Nigeria is a huge hub for, agriculture. So especially, so you have different parts, obviously, of Nigeria. So, if you go to the north, it's a little bit more dry. If you come to the south, it depends on which region you're in as well for what really flourishes. But that's a whole other episode anyway. So anyways, back to my point, dry season farming crops. So you have peppers, onions, tomatoes, cabbage. You have your ugu rice. You have your ewedu, which I just learned from my friend out there in Ghana that you guys call it ademe, I think you guys said. Maize, cotton, carrots, cucumber, okra, eggplant, melon, spinach, sweet potato, sweet corn, green beans, yams. So that's kind of just a little list of something that grows in the dry season, and thus it would also grow in the rainy season. So that's a huge list that you could just plant, right? You have your carrots, you have your cucumbers, you have your cabbage, you have your tomatoes, onions, pepper, things like that are vital to your everyday, and you can grow it all year round. You have your plantains and bananas. Those are all year round as well. You have your cocoa, the cocoa pods, they ripen at different times throughout the year. So harvest happens every year. Your pawpaw, your papayas, those are produces that go all year as well. I just want to put a little note about the papayas, right? So your papaya will have its produce of the fruit after only 6 months from the germination of the plant, the seed. So that is crazy. Like, you can actually have a tree within 6 months of planting the papaya seed. So within 6 months, you have a tree that produces fruit, right? That's crazy. And so even if you want to go into agriculture for like business purposes, it's huge. Here in Nigeria, for example, pineapple farming is huge. There is such a high demand for pineapples. If you have the ability to go into agriculture, you can do it as a business. Me personally, I don't want to do really business too much agriculture that way, because I'm just passionate about food. I think food is fantastic. I think it's amazing. It's our fuel. It's our life. And, for me personally, I want to go to the communities and, get people back into farming, because so many people aren't going into farming anymore. People look at you like you have 3 heads if you mention farming or agriculture. So that's a huge thing. One thing else that I wanted to say was, for example, this dry season. So the dry season, a lot of the crops that are being yielded have a good irrigation setup in place, and then you will be able to do the growing all year round. So that's definitely something to think of too. So, we see the fruits and the vegetables that are able to grow in the dry season. And so, the ability for you to be able to grow all year round is such a huge advantage. And that's why I push people so much to come to places where, you have the ability to be self-sustainable and grow all year round. And I have people coming to me and they're like, oh, you're just continuously, bashing Canada, or you're bashing I say, I'm not bashing. But what I want people to understand is that the opportunity is there. You have an opportunity to get away from that lifestyle and go into a different one that has different opportunities for you, right? If you think about pineapple farming, if you think about, your plantain farm, if you think about these things, they are huge benefactors in the world. They're huge benefactors in Nigeria. They're huge benefactors to you, right? You need to eat. Everybody has to eat. Everybody should be eating healthy food. You will feel better. You will sleep better. You will lose weight. You'll be awake. You won't be so sleepy. You'll be stronger. All those sicknesses and things it'll go away. Like, food is literally life. And so to have the ability to grow these foods it's just such a blessing. So, I'm not bashing any one or the other, but I am giving honor to where honor is due. And to me, these warmer climates, I'm not just saying Nigeria, but you see Ghana, you see these places, they have the ability to have food and do food themselves and agriculture. And that is so, so important. We need to teach our generations coming up. You need to teach your kids that you need to be able to have food, right? You need to be able to grow food. It is not just for poor people. Farming isn't just poor people thing. Like the person who's telling you that farming is for poor people is essentially going behind your back and buying all the farmland. That's what's happening. And I see that happening in Nigeria, right? There is such a narrative pushed for people to go out of Nigeria, go to the West and study. Go to the West and study. Oh, we got a Japa out of Nigeria here. That's what they say, right? But while you're selling your lands to go to the UK, while you're selling your lands to go to Canada, while you're selling your lands to go to America and work at Tim Hortons or scrub floors, the people you're selling your lands to are coming and taking them. Majority of them who are buying it are not from Nigeria, and they're coming and farming your land. They're coming and buying the land from you. And so when you finish your study, when you finish mopping McDonald's floors, when you finish doing that after 30 years, you now return to Nigeria, and your land that you sold for $5,000 is now worth over $3 million, and you're left with nothing, right? So I'm really trying to advocate people, young people, go into farming, go into agriculture, go into these things. If you want to do it as a business, do it as a business. You won't fail. You can't fail. It's impossible. Not when, we think that everybody has to eat. Your papaya, you grow it, you load a trailer up. I've heard people, they load a trailer up, they'll sell it. Within one day, they'll sell a whole trailer because it's in high demand. It's not easy. Farming is not easy. It's not easy, but what is easy? So, I'm a huge advocate. I've spoken a lot about this. I'm kind of going off my point here, but like I said, I go off on a tangent when it comes to these things because it's so important. Healthy food and what we're putting into our bodies are so healthy. If you think of it like a car, you wouldn't put water in instead of gas. You would never do it because the car would break. It wouldn't function. So why are we not taking our bodies the same way? What are we putting into them? Is it not going to allow it to function properly? Right? So, food is essentially everything. Food is life. And so I hope that you guys can come with me on this journey as we continue to go, as we get our farm set up. But, with my garden outside here at the village house here, and it's being set up. I wanted to show you guys a video of that one. I got my pineapples. Yes, my pineapples they're only going to give me something in about 2 or 3 years. But my other stuff, we got peppers planted. We've got the papayas planted. Hopefully everything else is going to go into the ground by next week. And we'll see what we can come up with that. But, guys, so that's kind of the gist of it. I don't want to talk too much. This is kind of just a video about the importance and what I find as the importance. We have to go into farming and we have to teach our children to love it and see its importance and see the importance of food because it is so, so very important. So that's it, guys. I have much more to say. I shouldn't say I don't have much. I have lots to say, but I don't think I have the time to say it. Thanks for watching. And, if you want to share this out to other people, please do. And just kind of, see what's out there. And I hope I can inspire people to see kind of this side of the world, one that we don't see too much of. We don't see many people. I don't see many people in Nigeria. I don't see many people coming here and sharing their experiences of farmstead and homesteading, or farming and homesteading because, well, I don't know why, but we're going to change the narrative. We're going to shine a good light. We're going to be a positive, voice out there. And we're going to represent Nigeria and this agriculture to what it really is, because it is a huge, huge, huge part in this world's export. And take you guys with us as we go. We're just starting out now. You know, we just came a couple months ago. Myself specifically came a couple months ago. So things aren't going to be perfect from the beginning. It's going to start slow. But if you continue to follow along with us, you'll see. And we'll see the impact that farming has. We'll see the impact. You know, there was a channel that I was watching. It was a woman out in Uganda, and her slogan that she always said is, you know, hungry people are angry people. And it's so true. You know, our food is so important. We need to eat, and we need to have other people understand that farming is so important. So, like I said, I'm yammering on here, but I think you guys get my point. So thanks for watching. If you have anybody that you think would be interested in seeing, you know, people coming along and doing some agriculture things and farming and homesteading here in Nigeria, share the video to them. We've got lots of exciting things coming. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one.